Welcome to our section on organic and genetically modified foods. According to the USDA, organic foods are produced without synthetic fertilizers, toxic pesticides, sewage sludge, irradiation, and genetic engineering. Organic products must be produced using agricultural production practices that foster resource cycling, promote ecological balance, maintain and improve soil and water quality, and conserve biodiversity. Now, the organic label is actually quite challenging to obtain. It's a fairly costly and rigorous process that requires compliance with strict regulations, and that's in part why we see a higher cost. How does eating organic affect health? Consuming organic foods is consistently associated with a reduced exposure to pesticides. Now, while studies show there's conflicting results on the impact of organic food consumption on health, consumption has been associated with a reduced risk of obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and hyperlipidemia. Some studies have found that organic foods are higher in iron, magnesium, and vitamin C. But there's little evidence to support the claim that organic foods are nutritionally superior. While some pesticides have been labeled carcinogenic, the association with cancer is actually unclear. Now, one of the problems with these studies is that individuals who are consuming organic foods are likely to engage in other healthy diet and lifestyle practices, such as exercising or eating fruits and vegetables. Now, these factors would also influence health outcomes. While researchers try to control for these factors, they can still impact results. So, is eating organic worth it? There are pros and cons. For example, there is a reduced pesticide and synthetic additive exposure. There's certainly no routine use of antibiotics in the livestock. Certainly better for the environment in terms of soil health and biodiversity, and it may benefit health. But there are some cons. And let's face it, organic is so much more expensive, and not everybody has access to organic foods. And while there might be a few nutrients that have been shown to be elevated in organic foods, they're not consistently nutritionally superior to conventional foods. They might also contain some trace pesticides, although that's not likely to impact health. And while the health benefits are encouraging, it's still unclear. We need more research in this area. So what is GMO? Genetically modified organisms can be defined as organisms such as plants, animals, or microorganisms in which the DNA has been altered in a way that doesn't occur naturally by mating or by natural recombination.
How are GMO plants made? First, scientists look for a desired trait in a plant, animal, or even bacteria. It could be a trait like resistance to drought, insects, or viruses. Then they copy the gene that contains that trait and insert it into the DNA of the plant they want to improve. Scientists then grow that plant to see if it adopts the desired trait. Feed your mind with more GMO facts on FDA's website.
There are advantages to bioengineered foods. GMOs can be developed to control pests, which means fewer pesticides, improve survival and yields, be drought and flood resistant, have greater nutritional value, and they can even be used to improve the appearance of foods. But there are concerns. For example, the introduction of allergens in foods, and this is because foreign genes are introduced into crops. And crops can be genetically modified to be resistant to herbicides like glyphosate and Roundup. So then they can be used to kill weeds without killing the crops, which sounds great, except the glyphosate exposure is linked to various diseases, including lymphoma. And then there's cross-pollination. So that's when pollen or seeds from a GM crop may travel into a neighboring non-GM field. And the loss of biodiversity, which essentially means there's a decline in the number and variety of species. And overall, there's still some lingering safety concerns. However, there's no validated evidence that foods made from GMOs are less healthy than non-GMO foods. Actually, the term GMO, or GM foods, is out, and BE is in. GMOs and GM foods are the most commonly used terms, but the legal term used on food packaging is bioengineered. Bioengineered is a labeling term for foods that contain genetically modified material, while a GMO is actually the plant, animal, or microorganism whose genetic material has been altered. When they started requiring labeling of GM foods, manufacturers could use a QR code on packaging. And I don't know what you think, but when I look at this QR code, it does not give me the impression that a product has GMOs. Fortunately, a bioengineered icon or text needs to be on the package now to help consumers identify bioengineered foods.
GMOs? Genetically engineered? Bioengineered? What's what? Well, GMO stands for genetically modified organism. It's the common term many people use for foods created through a process scientists call genetic engineering. And you'll start seeing bioengineered on some food packages to let you know the product or some of its ingredients come from GMOs. Feed your mind with more GMO knowledge on FDA's website.
To wrap this up, organic foods provide less pesticides exposure. They may be better for health and are better for the environment, but there's no doubt they come at a higher cost. GMOs are considered safe, but there are still concerns about the long-term effects, and the technology is still evolving.